I've never been a big analytics guy. After an outing, I remember I would have to sit with our analytics guy and be like, okay, what does this mean? Like, I have no idea I'm just reading numbers, like there's decimal points and no idea.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. It's the Show We Go Baseball podcast. Today's episode, we have another Red Sox pitching prospect. We have a second-round pick from 2024, Payton Tolle. Payton did not debut last year, but obviously he will in 2025. But Payton, I like to get things started just with a little small talk, I guess you could say. But we're into the off season, and I know free agency and everything's starting to get pretty crazy. But how has your offseason been treating you so far?
It's been really good. It's been good. Twitter or X or whatever it is blowing up. It's kind of fun to watch that. It's been my first offseason, interesting people moving around maybe. But no, it's been a good offseason. And, down here, Fort Myers, been training with the guys. And it's been really good to we got a huge band of guys here. We got most of the guys from the draft class are here. We got guys from every single level of the organization with Connolly Early, Max Carlson, Garrett Whitlock, D'Angelo Ortiz. Like, everybody is kind of each stage that everybody's at it's pretty neat to you pick guys' brains with that, but it's also just good to be here first pro offseason. You kind of don't really know what to expect. Like, you don't have that the paper at the end of the break that you gotta get ready for. So it's that's a big plus. I'm not a school guy, so it's trying to find my time outside of baseball, filling it with different stuff. It's been a challenge, but yeah, it's been good, and it's been a whole lot of fun down here. So.
Now, you're from Oklahoma, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How would you describe Oklahoma to somebody that's never been there, such as myself?
I mean, the old saying is Oklahoma is okay. And I love Oklahoma, and it's my home. It will be my home forever. Like, love that place. But at the end of the day, it's pretty all right. It's not going to blow you away. I don't think, like, Oklahoma doesn't suck, but it's not incredible. We got some good farmland, some good pastures. Oklahoma City's fun. You can find stuff to do down there. But, if you're looking for a vacation spot, I can't quite say Oklahoma's the place. But, yeah, you got all the extreme weather, and like we just get that's the biggest thing. Is like, you want weather, every kind of weather that you could get. Oklahoma's going to have it. So that's. I love Oklahoma. It's my home, and I'll go back there every single time. But yeah, it's all right.
Are both of your parents from there?
Yeah. My dad grew up in North Oklahoma, a small town called Blackwell, and then my mom grew up in East Oklahoma, in a high school town called Okmulgee. So. Then they met in Stillwater there at OSU. So,
I was going to say earlier, whenever you kind of said about the extreme weather, we just watched the new Twisters, me and the wife did. And she looked at me and she's like, we're never going to go through that area ever in the summertime.
Yeah, I went and watched that movie with Conrad Kaysen, and he's like, is it really like that? I'm like, dude, no, it's not. I promise. Like, we have our fair share of tornadoes. I think they had a couple of days ago, and it's like, we have tornadoes, but it's not like you're sitting outside and there's like, oh, there's one, oh, there's another. Which one are we going to go chase? Like, it's not quite that bad.
Yeah, she was she looked at me and she was just like, I wonder if we do drive through there, if there is going to be a Glenn Powell like company out there that just drives around Oklahoma looking for those things. But it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was.
what made you decide on TCU? Obviously, like it's not too far of a drive for you. I think it's only like 3 hours from home. But
Yeah,
what made you decide on TCU?
I mean, I think coming out of Wichita State and kind of looking for that new opportunity after our coaching staff kind of gets disbanded. Um, Going through visits and everything like that. Whenever I went to TCU, it was I almost had that when you know, and it's cringy and cheesy to say it, but that's just how I felt. And I think Coach Charlos, the guys there, Coach Charlos leads one of the most genuine, honest coaching staffs in America. Like I think he's he's an incredible guy. His family is incredible, and he leads by example of for the coaching staff, but also to us players. And I think that speaks a lot to who they are. Like to me, I remember whenever I got in the portal, and it was a long drive home with so many phone calls, and some are talking about offers and some are talking about baseball, where I got on the phone with Coach Charlos, and it was probably 20 minutes until he was like, oh, well, how'd baseball go for you this year? Like we just talked about people things. So I think that's one of the big things, like just the people there. Like it's Fort Worth, that campus is amazing. And then you also get obviously we didn't have a great season this year, but it's been a powerhouse in the past 10, 15 years. And I just wanted to be a part of that. And like you said, it was, not too far away from home. I could get back in 3 hours. And there were a few times during the season that I would have to do that. And, Coach Charles, Coach Lon, they were super understanding of like, okay, he's got to get home. So I just think it was the perfect fit for me. And it really, I was just praying for clarity through the whole process. And whenever I stepped on that campus and sat with Coach Charles, like it was, I knew that this was going to be my home. So.
No. Prior to that, Wichita State, you had some family lineage there. You're, correct me if I am reading this wrong, but your mother was on the golf team, and your dad was your dad went to Oklahoma State, and he had been a track and field guy. But your mom was a golfer for Wichita State.
She was there during those prime Wichita State, college World Series runs. So I was actually talking to Shay about Wichita State today. I was like, yeah, she was in classes with Darren Dreifort. And I mean, that's kind of like, if you know who Darren Dreifort is, that's kind of a big deal. But like, so she growing up,
I remember him.
Oh yeah. She always talked about, how great Wichita State's history is. And so whenever I, I always had that, they were my top 3 colleges, like going into recruiting in high school, like freshman year of high school, like you put down your top 3, and they were there just because, I had the lineage and I knew the history there. I was like, how cool would it be to be a part of the rebuild of that? But yeah, she loved her some Wichita State Shockers. So it was definitely fun to be able to go there. And, each time we went up there, she would pick out something new that like she didn't pick out before. She was like, oh, that's Danger Dylan's, like, don't go there. It's like, okay, well, and then well, this is where the 18th hole was. And so it was incredible to kind of share that experience with her.
Did you know that you were going to? Oh, sorry, Parker, you go.
Oh, I think there might be like a slight delay for you, Ed, on picking it up. But if you got a follow up here, I was going to go a different direction.
Oh, I was just going to ask if you knew that you were going to be a college baseball player for a long time, or if it was something that kind of snuck up on you? Like, what were you always a baseball player? Did you grow up playing other sports as well?
Yeah, I mean, I always gravitated towards baseball, just kind of throughout everything. I played basketball and I played football as well. And there was a time where I was like, this football thing it was kind of moving well. I was like, okay, like I'm a big guy. Like there's some schools showing some interest, but it was always baseball for me, and I was like, my knees couldn't handle me getting down on the offensive line. So it was definitely always been baseball. But yeah, I think about sophomore year of high school is whenever I always saw myself as wanting to play college baseball, but that sophomore year of high school was like, okay, this is legit, and like we need to start thinking about this kind of stuff of what the future is going to hold. So
what's life been like since you turned pro? Like I know it hasn't been like a lot of game action, or there's been zero since you turned pro, but what has it kind of been like taking in all the new information and just seeing the difference of just how professionals are doing it? Like you mentioned all the names that are down there in the complex with you. So what is like a couple of the biggest differences for you so far, just in your early stages of your pro career?
yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is like the numbers and analytics of everything. I've never been a big analytics guy. If after an outing, I remember I would have to sit with our analytics guy and be like, okay, what does this mean? Like I have no idea I'm just reading numbers. Like there's decimal points and no idea. So I think kind of learning that and like learning how analytics are used has been something that's been really, really interesting to me. Like, I'm still trying to understand it, but it's something that is starting to click a little bit. But then I think also like the amount of detail that goes into every player's workout and the amount of the attention to detail that each player has here is something that in college it's you can find yourself going through the motions every now and then. Like you can kind of it's a 6 a.m. workout and it's like, okay, just get through this, get through that 8 a.m. class, and then we'll get to practice. Like that's all we need to do. Versus now it's you got to really focus on what you're doing to the workout, how that's going to help you throw harder, how that's going to put you in a better position to be more efficient. And like the weights coaches, Nick Shed has been incredible with writing up workouts and everything like that. That's and TJ, love TJ. So she's down here. She's our weights coach, but they've been. It's so individualized. So my workout is going to look different than Shay's. It's going to look different than Brandon Clark's. So I think that's just something that I knew that it was going to be detailed, but like it is so detailed how everything is. You want to be moving a specific way at all times. So.
Now you were taken in the second round. Was this earlier than you expected, later than you expected? Take me through your draft day. What were some of the emotions you were going through? What was your reaction?
I mean, I think, let's see. It was a pretty incredible day. It was, wake up, went to church, and I told my dad, I was like, look, I can't sit in this house. Like, we got to go. Like, so we went golfing. Me, my dad, my cousin, and my brother. We went golfing. And then the draft actually started before we got back to the house. So we were looking at it on the phone, and whenever that draft started, that's whenever everything was like. That's whenever the nerves hit me, and it is a little nerve wracking, especially like I knew I wasn't going to go in the first round. Like I knew that, and talking with my agent and kind of hearing from coaches and everything like that, like we knew it was somewhere around that second, third round. Not quite sure if it was going to be first day, second day, but it was just no idea what's going to happen. Like this is a decision that's going to change a lot of things. Like Is it going to be Arizona? Is it going to be Florida? So there's just a lot of things that went into it, and we tried to take it as normal as a Sunday as possible. We had spaghetti Sunday. We do it me, my dad, and my brother do it every Sunday, and we had a couple of family members over, had some family friends over, and there's like, it's spaghetti Sunday. We don't know what's going to happen. It could be a great night, but if it's not, it's spaghetti Sunday. So, I mean, you can ask those people that were there in the living room with me, like, I couldn't sit down for 3 minutes. It was brutal. I was racing up and down all over the place. Finally was like, I'm going outside. So we migrated outside, and then my agent texted me and said, all right, like, do you want to know or do you want to be excited? And he had texted me earlier in the night that was like, hey, the Red Sox are kicking the tires a little bit. And so I texted him, I was like, I want to be excited, but knowing that the Red Sox had some interest. And whenever I heard my name called, it was just instant, like, almost that satisfaction of like it was all going to be okay. Everything's good. It's all worked out to right now. And it was, it was a moment of pure joy. And then it was a bunch of hugs and, high fives and all around the place. So it was a special moment. And I got to share with a bunch of people that were really close to me, or that are really close to me. But yeah, it was, and it is like, it was surreal. It didn't feel real. The only thing I remember is me having the video now. Is like, I only remember that part about it. Everything else is like completely out of the brain now. So
you mentioned your brother and your dad. What does you making it pro and getting drafted, what does that mean to them? How did they feel about it?
They would probably be like, well, I guess it's all right. I think that's the exact thing that they would say. But I mean, I think they're super proud of me, and I think it's it's something that I not only an experience that I want to have, but I want to take them along with me. And little brother, he's going off to Seminole State College and later next year, and I hope that one day I can be in his shoes for hearing his name called. And so I think it's just it was something that it's a journey that we all want to be on, and I'm happy that they could be here with me. So.
Did the Red Sox have any meaning for you, or were they just a team that they were the one that drafted you, so now you're a Sox fan?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it was just it was funny because there's some people that would be like, I don't know, I got a funny feeling about so and so. I got a funny feeling about so and so, and it was one of my high school coaches that was like, I don't know, I got a funny feeling about the Red Sox, and I'm like, how incredible would that be to play at Fenway Park? It is I say it's one of the greatest venues in sports. I think it's iconic. I mean, it's iconic. So, it's one of those things that, talking to people, they're like, do you care about, who you go to? And I would be like, oh, well, I mean, Toronto's cool. I guess it's Canada, or, Texas is close to home. But, how cool would it be to play in Fenway? And so it was something that was it's special just because it's just not another team. It's the Sox. So
I was curious about something, and you mentioned earlier that you kind of saw some things on Twitter /X, and it can be a crazy place sometimes with baseball fans, especially in the Northeast, which I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but I was curious. There was a lot made of you getting the highest bonus for a pitcher drafted by the Red Sox in some time. I think since Tanner Houck was drafted. Well, I am curious, what I guess the initial talks were with the front office and with Brian Abraham. Did they have any were they already laying out what they saw in you and what they liked about you? I guess how did those initial talks go with the team and with Abraham?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of I think the talks that we had in at the combine was kind of the only time that I talked to him. I mean, we also had player and meetings at TCU in the winter. And a person that, I mean, I just love. He's at West Virginia now, and I have Chris Riley. I was like blanking on the name, but he was my area scout, and he's an incredible person, and so I got to talk to him quite a bit. He got close with my mom, and I love that guy. He's incredible, but like getting able to talk to him and being able to talk at the combine was something that you kind of start picking up on things, and I don't know how the other however many interviews they had with other players were like, but it just seemed like they're being pretty forward about things, and they're saying like, this is what it's going to look like this is what your player develop like. And so it was pretty interesting because I was like, they seem really interested. And then after that, it was my agent said, take your hands off the wheel, let me take over. So I said, take it, like this is your thing, and you just let it roll with it, and I'm here for it. So it was a pretty it's pretty special to have that, being thrown in the realm with Tanner Houck, because he's pretty good. So it's definitely fun, but just truly blessed. So
yeah, Tanner Houck is also a Mizzou guy. Shout out Mizzou. That's where that's my place. So and then also Chris Riley, heck of a guy, by the way. West Virginia baseball is in good hands with him.
Absolutely.
What was it like once you got down to the complex? I know you kind of mentioned, you were hanging out. You've been hanging out with Shea and a few of those other names earlier, but how cool was it to get there, kind of see the rest of the guys in the draft class? And also, we've made this comment to a lot of the other guys that we've had on here. We had Shea actually on here who mentioned your size and BC's size and a bunch of the guys in the draft class. Yeah, massive draft class.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like kind of getting to intermingle with these guys for the first time and get to meet them and see what they were about?
Yeah, I mean, to that point, like, I think we could be one heck of an offensive line, or we could really dominate a rec league basketball team. Like, there's a bunch of big guys on this team, but it was so interesting, and just, it's you get there, and there's, got some guys that kind of like to talk, and you got some guys that are just going to stay back and be quiet, and there's also some guys like Zach Earhart. I played against him, so kind of had a connection there. You start making connections, like, oh, this guy, but I'd say it happened relatively quick, of like us starting to mesh, and we like really had good chemistry together. Like, everybody enjoys hanging out with each other, and living in that hotel down there can make for long days, but you're there with the guys, but it was a very interesting experience, and it's almost like every other team, almost like summer ball, where you go out there and you don't really know anybody. You might have a mutual friend or something, but it was cool to see how quickly we kind of came together, and you got some guys that are slower to get close to people, or they don't like want to jump in super hard, and I'm like, where are we hanging out? What are we doing tonight, guys? Like, hey, let's play some cards. What are we doing? So it was good to have some people that were like, all right, like, let's just take a nap, man. Like, let's just chill for a little bit. So it was a lot of fun, and already making great friendships. So
I'm gonna you got it, Ed.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to ask, how would you describe yourself as a pitcher for people that haven't seen the scouting report? Like, who are you going to be in this whichever rotation you are in, whether Greenville, Portland, Salem, wherever you are this coming season?
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean, the one word that kind of jumps out at me is like, I'm going to be really competitive. I kind of turned into a different animal out there. It's a different guy that takes the mound than is talking to you right now. I've been told that by a few different people, but I think competitive. But I love to try to fill up strike zone. I'm going to tell you everything that you guys want to hear. I guess this is probably what's going to be. I am going to have so much fun out there, and I hope that if you guys ever went back and watched one of my outings, like you had as much fun watching my outing as I had out there doing it. Like I have so much fun on a baseball field. My mom used to say it all the time, like show people the reason you play and play with joy and just show them why you love baseball. And I think that's how I try to pitch. And I think it keeps me loose. It keeps me free. And, it also kind of has I have the little guy in the back of my head, like, F this guy. It's just, but, I probably can't say that. I was told not to say that, but, it's just one of those things that I hope people enjoy watching me play. So.
I know you're a starter, but you're just like, I just see like glimpses of like, you got like a closer mentality a little bit. Like me and Ed
it's
always
the mustache.
joke. Yeah, it could be it.
Well, yeah.
We always joke though, the closers and they're a little bit like, like they have that mentality like every time they're having a ton of fun out there, but they're also like, I hate every single guy that's step into this box. Like and so you kind of give me a little bit of vibe of that. I know you're a starter, but it is kind of cool though to hear that.
Yeah, I think it's something that I think a lot of guys will tell you that they may not put it like I have it or like I said it, but like kind of have that killer instinct. But there's definitely a little bit of a closer thing of, there's been a few guys I've played with that's like, you might kill somebody in the parking lot. Clark Candiotti I played with him at Wichita State. He was at Arizona and I was with the Padres. Like that man, it's like, don't go into his basement. You don't know what you're going to find. Like he's that kind of guy. And whenever he's pitching, and I think it's awesome. I think it's fun. But yeah, it's definitely, it's got a little bit of closure thing to it. So.
Probably sucks to bat against someone like that, but it's like you said, it's fun to watch.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you're really happy that guy's on your team, but if you're facing him, it's like, you don't know if the ball's going right down the middle or at your head. It could go either way. So, yeah.
Did I hear correctly that you were a hitter at one point?
I pretty much hit all the way through college. I didn't hit as much at TCU, but still every day took BP, and it kind of got to the point where I was just like, let's just see how far I can hit it. But it was definitely hit all the way through and really enjoyed it. But kind of found this past season like, okay, I think my future is going to lie in pitching. So
how far could you hit it?
Furthest one I got was 498.
Wow.
So yeah,
wow.
it was
it's tough to give up the bat after that, man.
Yeah, I think that's probably the reason why they kept me, running me out there, is like maybe just this one time he can get into it again. But
hey, it takes a lot to hit 498. I can't even imagine.
Just close your eyes and swing as hard as you can. Can't miss it.
I did want to ask about your pitching arsenal real quick. I did see. I don't know if you're familiar yet with Sox prospects. It's okay. So your player page, it's got you with the fastball, slider, changeup. I know that we've talked to a lot of guys that are developing new pitches all the time, like sweepers down there or whatever it is. Have you been adding anything like since you've been drafted, or like I guess what does your arsenal look like going into 25?
Yeah, so right now I'll be working fastball, kind of tweaked a couple things on changeup, try to make that a whole lot better. Sweeper, which I'm still getting used to. It's coming along. I'm right there. It's coming along. and then curveball, which I used a few times at TCU, but something that is kind of fun. It's a little wrinkle I like to throw in there, but yeah, that's kind of what we got going right now. And subject to change, could add, could subtract, but that's what we got right now. So.
Okay. Well, Ed, I'm about to hop into some just one-off questions here if you're good for it, unless you got another baseball one.
We're going against the lightning round. I'm ready.
All right, cool. I got to start us off, Payton. They're going to be non-baseball related questions. Some of them might have a little bit to do with baseball, but it's going to be a little more a different change of pace here. What does Payton Tolle do on his off days? Like, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I've started the golf thing, and it's brutal. It's frustrating, but like it's that little competitive thing in me that's like, we got to keep going because at some point it's going to be good. And it's just, and it's just that little. I got that bug right now. It's like let's just keep playing. It's all right. You got free time. Like just go play. So I've been doing that. I'm not a big video games guy, but I've been trying to get on this Call of Duty grind.
Mm-hmm.
I get rocked.
Same.
It's just not my thing. I can play Fortnite. Not good, but I enjoy playing that too. But I do like cooking. I think that in a serious note, I do like cooking. Cooking, some box meals maybe. But I made some jambalaya tonight for me and Shay. I was pretty proud of it. Chicken and some andouille sausage, and then it's obviously a packet of jambalaya that I throw in there, but it makes it taste good, so I claim it as mine. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think. So, yeah.
You were the first one, by the way, to bring up cooking, which fantastic there. I did want to follow up your golf thing here because we did have we had a guy on this last week named Shea Sprague that was possibly talking a little bit of smack about the golf game. So he wanted to ask about I don't know if ask or tell you. I don't know which one he wanted me to do, but something about asking for strokes with Shea.
Listen. Shay played a lot more golf than me, and I go out there, and I want it to be fair. I'm not just gonna if we're playing for a little $10 or so, I'm not just gonna give him $10. He's been playing. I've seen him play really good golf. I'm like, I gotta get a couple strokes. Like you have no idea. And then whenever I do have to say, we did that. I asked for strokes, and they played the round of my life. I will never play like that again. And he's like, I'm never giving you strokes again. I'm never going to play like that again. So it became a whole argument, and I will continue to ask for strokes because I still think that he's better than me. But I got him the one time. So
it's fair.
I doesn't hurt my feelings.
So you were talking about watching Twisters earlier. Are you more of a movie guy or more of a show guy?
I think I'm more of a show guy. I've never watched Breaking Bad. I'm getting into that right now. And just started season 1 this week. Just get into it. Really excited about it. But I've watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine is up there with one of my favorite shows. Love Parks and Rec. Just kind of those, stupid brain rot. I don't
shut off your brain for half an hour.
Exactly. Let's just stare at the screen. So, but yeah, those are kind of I've just never. I'm not a very patient guy when it comes to stuff like that, and I don't want to have to sit through Marvel movies. I hate sitting through them just because I want to watch the end. I want to watch everything blow up. So I don't have the patience for it.
I kind of love that outlook on the because I'm with you, man. Sometimes now that I'm married, I'm sitting through some movies sometime and I'm like, man, I just want to know how this ends.
Yeah. You get to about that 45-minute mark, and it's like, man, I feel like I've been sitting here for 3 hours, and I still have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, there hasn't been much that's happened, but it's been like 40 minutes, and I still don't think I'm any farther than I was 40 minutes ago. It's a constant, man. You're a man of the South, which is it's got my heart a little bit. So I got a question for you,
Okay.
and I think you might be a good guest for this. So Ed's tracking this because last year when we interviewed a bunch of guys around the system, I asked them this one question, and I'm going to see what you got. So you're hungry and you want a fast food fried chicken place. It's got to have a drive-through, and you have every single option available. Where are you going?
I mean, this takes me back to my, sophomore year of high school, and I'm getting in the car. I'm getting in my old 1994 Bronco. That thing was awesome.
Okay.
And it smells terrible, and it's got trash rolling around the back. And yes, I'm building this up because Shay told me about this. He said they're going to ask you this question. And I said, I'm going to make this a really long, drawn-out story. And got to go somewhere quick. And I got my buddy. He gets in the seat. Like, where are we going? Raising Cane's is my spot. And I understand there's some people out there. It's only got one sauce. And yes, I understand that. That sauce is so good. And the chicken tenders are always cooked perfectly. Sometimes you have to let them, simmer down a little bit because whenever you buy them and they're really hot, they're not as good when they're just a little cold. Raising Cane's is my place. That's my place. That's my chicken place. I'll do some Chick-fil-A. Raising Cane's gets me.
What about Zaxby's?
I think I've had Zaxby's maybe twice in my life. And plenty of sauces. And I understand. I'm not familiar with it. I'm just not familiar with the game.
If you head to your app or your maps on the phone, there's a Zaxby's probably like 2 miles from the complex.
This week, I will get familiar with the Zaxby's game.
Alex Bouchard's there all the time. I know there's a crew going down there quite a bit. So we even got the
totally
Australian
not just
in
because. Not totally just because you've been throwing it out there to them.
Listen, I think that they ordered Zaxby's to the house one day, and I asked, "Well, I'll pay you." They have a dessert there. Is it fried cheesecake bites? Is that what they have there?
Oh,
I
don't get dessert, but
I asked them for something, and they were like, "Here it is," and it was a box of fries, and I'm like, "This is not what I wanted." And so it's already starting off on the wrong foot because the next time I ordered, I was wanting something sweet, and I got that. So
that's fair.
I'm open to it. I'm open to anything.
Okay. All right, Ed, follow us up on that.
Sorry,
I mean, not quite this isn't as sexy of a question, but what was your team growing up, and who was your favorite player?
My team growing up, being from Oklahoma, I was a Rangers guy, and it was right there. Those World Series teams, and I was a big. I feel bad sometimes saying it now, but like Josh Hamilton was my guy. I'm in that boat that like if Josh Hamilton kind of stayed together, I guess is a good way to say it. Like he would have been one of the best hitters of all time. But yeah, I could probably. I think it's like the 2011 Rangers lineup that I could probably name all the way up and down. And don't put me on the spot because then I'll freak out about it. But that was kind of my team growing up. But then growing into high school, it just kind of became a thing. And I'm not just saying this because of recent events, but it was just, yeah, who's your favorite team? It's everybody but the Dodgers and Yankees. Like I like everybody else, but can't do like this World Series was a rough one for me. It's like I just don't really care who wins. Like it doesn't really affect me. So
it's so interesting to me too that about the Dodgers because you grew up. Well, I guess recently they're a AAA affiliate out there in OKC. Did you ever make it to any games in the past few years?
Oh yeah, we so back whenever they were the Red Hawks, we would my dad's company, I think, had season tickets somehow, and nobody else would use them, so we went all the time. But that would have been, I think that they were still the Astros affiliate at the time. I don't think I ever went to a Dodgers game whenever they were the Dodgers. So, but yeah, I love like Bricktown Ballpark is a special place in my heart because I think that place is pretty sweet. But yeah, I just couldn't get on that train, you know. So
That's fair. I do have I hope Shay didn't ruin my other food related question for
no, I don't think he did. I just know about the chicken one. So
all right, good, because I have another food one that I know you mentioned. Max Carlson. He signed off on this question and said it tells a lot about somebody, and I tend to agree with him, man. So let's see. All right, so you got 3 of your fingers, and they can dispense 3 different sauces for the rest of your life, and those are the only sauces that you will ever get to have ever again. You can't have anything else. What 3 are you picking?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm not a ketchup guy. I hate ketchup. Mustard. Oh, like spicy mustard, I think is probably going to be one. I think some sort of salad dressing. If it's either ranch, maybe Caesar. I'd probably gravitate more towards like a Caesar salad.
Wow.
Not Caesar salad. Gravy. Somebody, I think I was on the phone with somebody who was like, oh yeah, forget gravy is a sauce in a way. And then that third one, I mean, I can't even think of sauces now. Like I don't really need I don't have a need for steak sauce because hopefully I'm getting good enough steak that I don't need sauce.
Yep, I'm with you.
Man, is it gonna be ranch? But like, how much do I like? Like, I like ranch with pizza. Maybe can I go like salsa?
You can go with whatever you want.
I think I'll say
salsa literally translates to sauce. So that's
fine. I guess that shows how good my Spanish is. I think I'm gonna go salsa though. I think that's where I'm going with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you, Ed, pulling that out.
My sister lives in Mexico. Like I better know what that means.
All right, so you went gravy, salsa, and spicy mustard.
You said spicy mustard. I like the variety there, and I also like the gravy's thinking out of the box.
Oh yeah, I think it's just I put gravy on everything. Like you got breakfast for gravy, but you can also put gravy on a chicken fried steak and mashed potatoes. So like you can put it kind of goes everything. Put it on a piece of bread, put it on a piece of toast. It's perfect.
I was gonna say, I think you and Matt Duffy are the only guys that said gravy so far. He said chocolate sauce too, which I think that's the only one we're gonna get.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about what else maybe like some good like white queso like that.
Ooh, yeah,
that hits the spot. And if that goes on the 4th finger right there.
All right, Ed. What do you got to wrap us up here? You got anything?
Anything to wrap this up? I'm a big dog person. Did you grow up with any pets?
With pets?
Yeah.
Yes, I had a dog named Ranger, and that dog. So I have 2 dogs. I had Ranger and Annie is she's still crazy and kicking, but Ranger, he's passed on. But don't be sad, because I was not sad the day that he passed, because that dog had one eye. He was blind in the other eye. I mean, so fat. The dog never barked. He couldn't hear anything. You would Ranger, nothing. It was incredible that dog lived. I mean, I think he was 16, going close to 17 years.
It's a good life.
It was. I was like, I was kind of disappointed because my dad was like, look, like he's pooping in the house again. Like, it's time. I'm like, dude, we got to see how long this dog can go. It's incredible. Like, he doesn't whine or anything. He never barks. He sleeps all day. Like, he's the perfect dog. But no, it was time, and I understood. But man, that was I love that dog. Love that dog. So,
what kind of dog was he?
Cocker Spaniel.
Oh wow, so he's kind of I don't think, are Cocker Spaniels little?
He was a medium-sized dog. I mean, he was fat, but he was a medium-sized dog.
And what's the other one?
Annie, she's a golden doodle. So she's full size now. She's pretty big, but she's not near as cool as Ranger yet. So.
Gotta
That's a
lose
tough
an
bar
eye
to get over, though.
Yeah. She's got to live about 18 more years to be as cool as Ranger.
Yeah, maybe lose an eye and like maybe throw a leg in there too, just for those bonus points.
Yeah.
All right, Payton. Well, we appreciate you hopping on. I did want to end it on one thing. I did hear that our good friend Joey may have accidentally drilled you on the green. I think a couple weeks ago or a week ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How long did that take to recover from that?
I mean, I could probably call him in here right now, and I mean, it's still sore. I got a big old bruise, and I got to wake up every morning and do some heat pack, and our trainer Joel said that I'd be out for at least 4 to 5 more weeks. So it's just Joey. And he's not going to answer, but yeah, it was. He didn't hit me that hard. It was more. I was like, oh my. He just hit me. What is going on? But,
all right, Payton. You gave us a ton of your time, man. We appreciate all of it. We're looking forward to seeing you on your first spring training coming up, and then wherever you get assigned to. So, like I said, thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Well, thank you guys. So I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. So this has been great.